Hi, my name is Molly Shaler and I'm a beader and blogger, and I came here today to share a little bit about pearls with you, one of my favorite subjects when it comes to materials for beading. So I wanted to start out with the beginning of the pearl's life. So pearls begin their lives in these beautiful shells of oysters. Now, when the oysters are first implanted with the, when the pearls first become growing inside the oysters, what happens is the oysters are slightly opened and the muscle is lacerated in order to create a sort of irritated spot within the shell of the oyster, within the muscle. And that muscle produces a nacre, which is the great coating that we see on pearls that we love so much, that has that glow and effervescence and warmth. That is such a great, wonderful design aspect. So what I've got here is actually a pearl or a shell of an oyster that's probably, I'd say it's probably like about 9 years old. Now, when they start out and when they first do those lacerations, they'll put 25 to 30 lacerations within a 2 to 3 inch wide shell. And they let that shell grow for a period of years. And inside that, the nacre grows to surround and protect that muscle that was lacerated. And then they check it, say, every week or so to make sure that none of the oysters are sick, because once one gets sick, another one can get sick that's next to it. So they're very careful about that. And these pearls are grown in freshwater lakes in China. And so what happens is that they'll go and they'll check on them. A couple years will pass, and that pearl will grow to, say, 2 to 3 millimeters size. So something along the lines of maybe these pearls over here. And then in a couple more years, they'll check again, and those pearls will have grown at the age, maybe at the age of 4 or 5 millimeters per pearl. So what happens then is by the time that the oyster is about 9 years old, something like that, then the shell is harvested, because at that point it's very unusual for it's usual for imperfections to happen. The older the pearls get, the more likely there will be imperfections in them. And perfectly round pearls are very, very expensive and extremely valuable because they're so rare in nature. So what happens then is, though, the oysters are harvested, and once they come in, this is a shell that's been opened, and it's not been polished or anything. You can still see there's a little bit of grit in there, but it's still, you can see it's got that pearly color to it. The next thing that happens once the pearls have been removed, the ones that were not attached to the shell, is that the shells would be polished. And that's where we see this beautiful effervescent depth and layers of like light capturing nacre. So at that point then, those can be cut up and turned into all sorts of different materials for your beading projects. You may have, like say, these are abalone shells that have, or some of them may just be the regular shells like this that get to be cut into interesting sizes and interesting shapes. So here we have some of the younger pearls, and some that are a little bit older, and some that have maintained a pretty great size here that are really fun to use. And then after those shells have been cut into the pieces that they need, all of those little pieces have been turned into something like this, you're left with some small bits, and we don't want to waste any of it. So sometimes you'll find shell beads that are made of compressed shells. So they'll take some sort of a base, and they'll add the pieces of shells so that you still get the shells luster and really beautiful colors in there. Now, also occasionally pearls can be black or even pink, but that doesn't happen quite as often in nature. And so sometimes you may want lots of different colors of pearls. So acrylic pearls are a great option for you because they'll have the nice regular shape and all sorts of fun colors. Well, I thought I'd show you something traditional. First, pearls are traditionally knotted. The reason that they're knotted is because that nacre on them can be rubbed off with abrasion. So I thought I'd show you a little bit here about how pearls are knotted. I use a silk thread that comes with a needle attached, so you don't have to worry about the thread doubling back. And I've gone ahead and I've already strung a bunch of these pearls. And these are already knotted right here. And I thought I'd just pull one down to show you how easy it is to knot your own pearls. Pull one down next to that one. I'm gonna go like this and drop them through to make a knot. And then this is a great tool right here. This is one of my favorites. It's a pearl knotter tool. And all you do is you pull and you slide it down like this, all the way to the pearl, and then you slowly slide the knot off like that. And then you get it cozied up right next to your other pearls. So here's a bracelet that's kind of what we're all used to, the typical pearl bracelet. I thought it'd be kind of fun though, to kind of take pearls down a notch, or some people might say up a notch, but and give them a casual look. And one of the best ways to give things a casual look, I think, is to change up your stringing materials. And so instead of using the typical silk, I thought it might be fun to incorporate some leather into a pearl bracelet. So what I came up with was this other bracelet right here. So this is like a great beachy bracelet. It's got pearls, it's got leather, it's even got a little charm. And so I thought I'd show you how to do that as well. Now I start with just deerskin lace. It's really easy to find in beautiful colors. It doesn't just come in this brown. And I used some rivets to connect the clasp right there. It's pretty easy to do. You use this mallet and the rivets come like this, and you just use one on either end. But then in order to attach pearls, all I do is I'm gonna take, and I give myself extra wire all the time because I figure it's easier to have a little extra and trim it off than it is to be stuck without enough. So I'll just take a small pearl like this and I'll string it onto the center of this piece of wire. I'm using German wire here because it's a little bit harder than a lot of the wire that you might find, the copper wire, and it makes a better connection with the leather. So I went go ahead and I make a 90-degree bend, and that's what's going to start my pearl wrap. So as you can see here, I've done a couple already. What we're using is we're just going to use this wire to kind of pinch and attach the pearl onto the leather. And I just kind of eyeball my spacing because, like I said, we're going with casual, we're going with organic. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of eyeball that out so it's about to where I think the even spacing for the next one is, and I pinch the pearl on there, and I just wrap easily around the leather. I just love this combination of turquoise and gold. So we'll wrap it that way, and then I usually try to wrap the other one the other way. So we're gonna pinch that way and wrap it around this way. I'd say go 3 times on each side. And then once it's on there, give it a little tug. Use your chain nose pliers to kind of pinch it into place, and actually make sure that you have your wire on the back side first. Trim the back, and you want to make sure that you do pinch the wire in close like this. And you'll do that on the other side too, to create your loops, and then you'll pinch it together for a little to make it tidy. So there you've got that. You just continue on around. Now you could also at the end of it put on a cute little charm for fun. So why don't we go ahead and take a look over here at some of the other projects I've got. I brought a few that this one uses the acrylic pearls in graduated ombre tones, which is really kind of fun. These are kind of beaded beads that I made. And this is definitely a traditional necklace with real pearls and then sliders for a little extra fun and bling. And then over here we have one that's chain, and that is totally wonderful. Denise Moore made that one over the top, absolutely fun necklace. Then on my right, here are a couple other options to use with some leather. This one Erin Struther made, it's got little knots just with tiny little drops of pearls, which is very casual, and you could wear this wrapped around your wrist as a bracelet as well. Or you could use these fun earrings with, again, leather tassels. So next time you're at home trying to figure out how to use your pearls, try using them in a non-traditional way instead.